Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Mind of Mando. I'm your host, Armando Ortega, and I hope every single one of you started off your morning right, doing what you guys do, your regular routine. Hopefully it makes you feel good. And for those who work graveyard and are going home, I hope you have a very good night's sleep. Like I said, welcome back to another episode. Just here, want to talk to you guys before I have to head out to work. Hear any music in the background? Today we are going to be serenaded by the beautiful notes that is Minecraft. I mean, it's a very particularly soft soundtrack, and I kind of put it at the level I usually do with the louder records, so you may not hear it, but I do, and I find it a little more soothing, a little more, I mean, it's like background music, but it's not, how do you say, particularly distracting. There's other music that's just insanely distracting because of how loud it is. And then if it's a really good song I love, it's just a tedious intro. One thing I will say is that you may hear some noise in the background. That's just my AC. You know what? I should probably just turn that off. Give me a second. Actually, no, I should just put it up a little bit more. Alright, sorry about that. Usually I'm a little more better at making sure my stuff is actually settled before I start recording, but you know. Yeah. I had started off with a great morning. You know, just literally woke up hella early, got changed. Went to the gym that's literally just 2 floors below where I live, and worked out for a while. Got back home, took a shower, and I'm almost finished drinking a cup of milk, and it's good. How about that rain last night, though? That was insane. I was playing with my buddy Wildlands before I got into work, and he was asking if there was inclement weather, and I was like, no, I mean, there's clouds, but not really that much. I start walking to work and I realized, yeah, no, it's pretty windy. I was like, it's unusual because the day before was just super sunny. And then it got to the point where I remember, if you hear my cat, he's seeing birds outside, so he's making those noises. It got to the point where yesterday during work, me and my supervisor were just working on the computer real quick, and then all of a sudden we get calls that they need some carpets and everything like that in the lobbies and the hallways, everywhere that has floors that don't have carpeted areas because of the rain. I go outside and it is coming down. I haven't seen rain like that since 2018 probably. But even at that, it wasn't even that bad. How in those times it would rain so hard and so frequent that it would flood the streets. It would flood San Diego doesn't really get much rain compared to the Bay. So the Bay makes up for it by having, well, mainly SF, by having a lot of hills. So the water rolls down and they have a lot of sewage systems. So water always has somewhere to go. I've noticed that San Diego doesn't really have that. I mean, you can go several blocks without even seeing like a drainage system at the corner of a block or anything like that. It's just nothing. So in turn, when it rains really hard, Jesus. In turn, when it rains really hard, then you get little floods here and there. Like it starts pulling up, and it gets so bad that I remember when I used to work one of my old jobs, the tracks for the trains, the stations used to get so flooded, all like transportation through trains had to cease for the time being, and they had to like make it up by making bus bridges, basically putting bus stops at the stations and picking and acting like and hitting the stations that the trains would have been hitting if they were running normally. But yeah, and it's just like, I thought it was gonna be like that last night, to be honest. Turns out, no, not really. It's it rained really hard, but it literally stopped after like 20-30 minutes. And then, like, what annoys me is when that weather happens, I love it, but it's just, why does it have to be that the sun comes out directly after, trying to shine like nothing ever happened? It's like, yeah, that just ruins it, you know? That was just me. But yeah, no. Well, anyways, this past week has a lot happened. Not really in my personal life that I can really remember, but story-wise, a lot of good stories these past few days. I'm gonna start with the first one, Buddy the cat. If you guys don't know who Buddy the cat is, he's a black cat who was chilling on his owner's porch, just relaxing, you know, doing what cats do, sunbathing and stuff like that, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And what do you call it? Two guys were walking their dogs, and their dogs happen to be pit bulls, which sucks because there's already bad rep on those dogs, and these guys weren't helping. So their dogs, they looked relatively young, judging from the video. Anyways, they're walking their dogs, and their dogs are just walking past the house. They're happy to even be outside. So they don't even pay mind that there's a cat there. So they're walking. It was the guys who saw the cat. Well, anyways, the guys brought their dogs back, and the dog's like, "Whoa, what are we doing?" You know, and they tried to get their dog's attention to the cat, and the dogs weren't really noticing the cat first until they saw it, and the owners was like, "Cool, you trained on him? Go ahead and stick the cat." So they stick their dogs on the cat. I mean, the videos I watch are blurred, and the reason I watch them is intentionally. As you guys know, I have 5 cats. I love cats. You know, my first cat I got when I was 6 years old, and it's because we rescued the cat and everything. And it lived up to 2016, which was, shoot, when was that? That was 16 years. 16 years of life, you know? It's insane. The cat, well, I had that cat since I was 6 all the way till I was 22. And it was like, I loved her like crazy. We still have her ashes at home. And her sister, we have her ashes at home too. Her sister's cute. There's actually a video on one of my channels where it's just me testing my old mic, and my cat is there. Well, anyways, so hold on, one of my cats is scratching the door. Give me a second. Whiskey, what are you doing? Have your whiskey. Mine, what? No. Stop being weird. Cats are weird. So yeah, back to what I was saying. That's why I didn't watch the actual graphic video. I've seen a lot of things. I've had to deal with a lot of things, and a lot of them are very, very sad and graphic. Excuse me. But the thing is, it's just animals in general. It just sucks, you know, seeing them just minding their own business, and then just like people sending their own pets to go and attack him. It's like, why? You know? Well, anyways, what made it worse was the camera had audio. So I was able to record audio. And you were able to tell that the guys were all like, good boy, good girl, whatever, you know? Like, encouraging the dogs to mess up the cat. I think the owner saw the attack, or heard the attack, actually, better said. Came out, rushed, and started trying to take the dogs off their cat. The owners got their dogs off, and they booked it. Of course, you know, just don't want to face the consequences for your actions. Anyways, they booked it. The owner of the cat, she immediately took her cat to the Pennsylvania SPCA. I guess it became such huge news in Pennsylvania, of course, because it reached the rest of us around the world. But it became such a huge news in Pennsylvania, especially in Philadelphia, especially that area in Philadelphia, that it was literally plastered all over the news, like 24/7, I believe, from what I've been reading. And the quartering, I remember he was doing bits on this news, and he was offering originally $1,000, then $2,000, then $2,500 for any information that would that leads up to identifying who these people are and their arrest. Recently, there's a law that's been passed that makes that type of actions that would fall into the category of animal fighting, felony animal cruelty, and everything. As felonies and everything. They're illegal, of course, and they're treated super seriously. Well, what had happened? Damn, that's pretty loud, actually. Hold on, give me a second. I know I keep putting the mic down, but it's just trippy say. All right, there we go. So yeah, it made huge news over there in Philadelphia. I think this happened on the 22nd, I believe, of March, and it lasted all the way to the 25th. Yes, I believe 25th. So 3 days, because the news didn't break news until the 23rd. So the 24th and 25th, yeah, I believe the 25th. So people were trying to find these kids and everything. The reason I say kids is because everybody thought that they were adults, and I myself included. Because you watch the video, unless you're watching it multiple times and really just paying attention to them, at first glance, you think they're adults, Well, anyways, on that very same Friday, their mother took them to the police station to turn them in. That they were the ones who did that, who were responsible for it. So one was 17 and the other one was 12. And that sucks, for multiple different reasons. One, everybody who loves animals, everybody who loves cats and everything like that, when they see something like that, what do they want? They want justice for that cat. They want those responsible to get caught and pay for it. But it's difficult for the fact that they're minors still, and even though it's felony charges, it's not anything that allows children to be tried as adults. So it's very likely that, and I think in Philadelphia you have to be 18 to qualify for community service at that. So for me personally, I don't see them going the juvie route at all. And if I'm being completely honest, I truly don't believe that they're going to face any huge repercussions unless it's coming from their own family. Good news, their dogs got taken away by the SPCA. Their dogs were seized. They don't have those dogs anymore, and I doubt those kids even care. 2, Buddy the cat, the Pennsylvania SPCA posted up a video that after emergency care surgery, I believe they did on him and everything, while he's all bandaged up and stuff, he's making biscuits. He's kneading, basically, but that's what some people call it. And he's showing, they're saying he's still kind of in critical condition, but they're hopeful that he'll get better again. And they said once Buddy the cat's 100%, I don't think the owner wants to keep him in that area. Understandably so. You don't want to risk your cat, being attacked again. But Buddy is the type of cat who, I wouldn't say an outdoors cat, but he likes being outside, but right there at home, And the fact that he was on his owner's porch in on his owner's property, not even out there in the streets or anything. And that still happened. It's kind of like, you can't really hold an animal inside, force them inside, and expect them to be a-okay 100% of the times. So yeah, so I believe there was talks that they were gonna, once Buddy's 100%, they're gonna put him up for adoption, and a couple of people I know already want to adopt him and stuff. But I'm sure there's a bunch of people in Pennsylvania who'd love to take Buddy the cat in. So I'm just glad the cat's recovering. But yeah, so the dogs were seized. The SPCA is not putting them down, and I'm not against that, really, because it's just like I said, those dogs looked young in those videos. They were impressionable and everything, and they were just doing what their crappy owners, wanted him to do. Because that's what dogs do. They want to please. So, I believe the SPCA is going to try and rehabilitate those dogs, try and test out how they are in different types of environments, how do they react and everything. Usually their own tests that they do, and determine whether or not they're suitable to be released out to an owner and not cause any problems in the future. So yeah, so that's really what how do you say it, what's been going on with Buddy the cat. And to be honest, my personal how do you say it, ideas on the whole thing is just like, yeah, one is 12 and one is 17. You could have leniency for the 12-year-old, I mean, even if you are 12, you could be younger, you can still be a crappy kid, you can still be annoying. I mean, kids are mean. Kids can be so mean because they lack filter. They lack the ability to really think about the consequences of their actions. They just want to do stuff that they believe is fun. And you can't really blame them because it's just their young age. They haven't experienced life the way it really is. And it's just, it's a little different thing with kids. So honestly, it's just like, I know some people are saying the 12-year-old should like be made to help out at a shelter and everything like that. Part of me think that's a cool idea. Part of me thinks that, if he was willing to do that, to stick a dog on a cat, what makes you think he's not gonna, if he's giving little animals, the little crap head isn't gonna do something diabolical or something like that. I don't know. But the 17-year-old, yeah, he's 17, but come on. If he was just like a few days, weeks, or months, if this had happened like a few days, weeks, or months later when he was 18, he would have been tried as an adult, no problem. So it's just like, what's the difference? Just a few months of living, really? But it's just like, this guy, he's old enough to know what he was doing. He was old enough to know the consequences for his actions. Why do you think after they got their dogs off the cat, he had all of them book it? Because he knew that if they stayed and the cops were called, they were gonna get in trouble. And it's like, it makes no sense if they don't, do something with this guy. It's just you got off easy, you got off lucky because you weren't 18 yet. If this had been just a few weeks later, not so much. But that's my whole thing. It's just like, the charges were for felonies, but they're not the type of charges that allow kids to be charged as adults. So I'm gonna try and keep up and see what they decide to go from there. But that's my whole thing. I just can't stand people who just make their pets hurt other people's pets or other people's animals, because like, I think I read somewhere that that's what they do to like fighting dogs, and that's why they pursued the felony animal fighting stuff, because it was just like, that fit in that category. Just training your dogs to try and kill another pet and everything. And I believe that's what they do at some like underground dog fighting rings and everything. It's just they train their dogs to be aggressive to smaller animals, and kill smaller animals and start working their way up. I think at one point they chained their dogs somewhere where they can't move to attract other dogs, and then like either make them fight the other dogs off, or they use that chained up dog as bait so they can lure other big dogs and then capture those big dogs. so so they can keep using them for fighting. And it's sick. Not cool sick, it's disgusting sick. It's terrible. It's just, dogs are great companions. They've been companions since they were still wolves, you know? And just, I mean, the lineage down from the wolf has gone so far. I mean, like, we got chihuahuas and pugs, but how do you say it? Yeah. And but they're great animals. They're companions. They're there because they want, to be part of a pack, and they see the owner as the alpha. But it's just like, what happens if the alpha of the group just uses you for entertainment? Doesn't care if you die. Doesn't care if you get hurt. If you finish fighting, you come out the victor, and you have wounds, they'll just spray your wounds real quick, and then they'll throw you right back into the ring so you can fight again. What kind of life is that? And it's just like, it's people out there. It's disgusting, to be honest. And for me, like I said, personally, I had 2 cats since I was a kid. And then now I have 5, which some people might find excessive. And, yeah, no, they're right. But it's like, in the end of the day, I love every single one of them. And it would hurt me so much if one day my cats are like, just chilling, and then someone just sicks their dogs on my cat. It's like, it would suck, because it's just like, I love all animals, but I care about my cats more than I care about your dog. So what do you think is going to happen at that point? Just, you got to think about that. So people don't realize that you mess with the wrong person's animal or with the wrong person, you don't know what they're going to do. And they're going to do something you probably don't like or you won't want. But yeah, that's just my whole thing, It's just that's why when I heard that story, it was just ugh. But I'm glad the good dogs got taken away and they're being like, hopefully rehabilitated. On top of that, I'm glad Buddy the cat was recovering at a actually very, very good rate and everything. So happy ending all around, and he's gonna get adopted out to a better family. Give me a second, I gotta switch my record side. Hold on. No worries for the rest of your days. It's our problem free philosophy. Kuna Matata. There we go. Second story. This happened, I believe, at the beginning of March. And it's like, well, I think my phone. Oh my God, what is that? I'm sorry. Penny. Hi, Whiskey. Whiskey's my cat. Okay, so I believe it happened with this one girl. She's I think this happened March 6th. So basically there's this girl by the name of Lauren Pazienza. Am I saying that right? Pazienza. Doesn't sound Spanish. I think it's Italian or something like that. So basically what happened with her is, it's this young girl. I think she's 22, if I'm correct. So basically, 22-year-old Lauren Pazienza, she's the type of girl who, look, this is just me personally speaking at this point. She's not unattractive by any means. Not at all. She's not. But she's not break your neck trying to get a second look gorgeous either. She's there. She's there. Fixed up the right way. Yeah, no. Very good looking woman. But that's really about it. So, anyways, Lauren Pazienza, she's 22 years old, right? Oh no, never mind. No, she's 26. My bad. She's 26 years old, and basically her life is just going around, you know, Instagram, Snapchat, all these social medias that she can post pictures of exotic looking places and how do you say it? Pictures of herself and everything in poses that really garner views, and just being an influencer. Man, I hate that word. It's so dumb. It's like yeah, being an influencer. So, with being an influencer, that saying, fake it till you make it? That's basically how it is. And that's how it's working for her. She'll go out there and she'll go to these places and try and garner a huge following. And I know there's other YouTubers, when they're posting pictures in private jets, it's been exposed that the private jet interior is fake, But how do you say it? Yeah, so they basically try and make it look like their life is so lavish and luxurious and just so interesting that, like, how do you say it? That it's not even what's the word? That there's no problems that you're facing, and when you feed your ego enough, eventually you'll start believing what you're spewing out there. And call back to my last episode, with my boy, not my boy, he's not my boy, with the guy I know from work who just constantly lies about what he's done and what he's doing and everything like that. He said it so much to the point where he himself, I believe, believes his own stuff, like completely believes it. And this is what this girl basically did. She started believing her own stuff, basically believing that her life is perfect, everything should be catered to her. She's great. With her attitude and how it is right now, it's safe to say that she's never really faced any type of repercussions for her actions in the past. Because what happened on when was it? Oh, March 10th. Correction, March 10th. Well, what happened on March 10th just shows how in the know this girl is, but how out of touch she is too. Unfortunately, there's this woman, Barbara Mayer Gustard, who was a singing coach, 87 years old. She was waiting outside for her cab to arrive on March 10th. When she was waiting for her cab and everything like that, she was shoved by Lauren. Never had an altercation with Lauren. They weren't exchanging words from what I've been reading, multiple different articles. Just they never crossed paths before until that moment. So the girl Lauren, she ended up shoving her. And how do you say it? And unfortunately, Barbara fell to the floor and hit her head. Lauren kept going. She just kept going. And people were trying to, help Barbara and everything like that, call an ambulance for her, because suddenly Barbara had blood coming out from her head. So the sad news is Barbara ended up passing away 4 days later from the head injury from being shoved. Lauren is out of touch, because I'm positive she did that, but she didn't expect for the outcome to be what it was. Because next thing you know, she deletes all her social medias. She deletes every single one of her social media. She deletes her own website. She deletes everything she can possibly delete. And she goes back to her parents' place. And I believe her parents are super rich. So she ended up leaving to her parents' place. And by the next 2 weeks, she did all that stuff to just, how do you say it, to not be caught. And even says right here, it says that she stashed her phone at her aunt's house, and in order to not get tracked and arrested. So how do you call it? She was evading arrest. Exactly. Well, anyways, eventually she got caught at her parents' house and everything like that in Long Island. And how do you say she got arrested? She got arrested, and she's being charged with manslaughter and everything at this point. And I can't think of something that puts a smile on my face like stories like these. Because according to multiple different people who have had encounters with Lauren and everything, and especially her neighbors in places that she slept, she stayed in, dormed in, whatever, she is not a pleasant girl at all. She constantly had arguments and fights with her neighbors, with random people in the streets, and she constantly was just a loudmouth and someone who just brought problems to the place. And you can't really help but come to the conclusion that the reason she has that type of attitude is because she was born into a wealthy family. And it may very likely have been that family never said no to anything that she wanted. So she's used to just getting everything that she wants. And, unfortunately, the life doesn't work that way. Real life doesn't work that way. We can live that life as best as possible, and some people can actually achieve it for majority of their life. But for a lot, it's just the reality that life will never always be fair to you. So, yeah. And regarding the reports and statements from her former neighbors and everything, it's just she was never a pleasant person to be around. And what else can you expect from somebody whose life revolves around their image and social media? Well, yeah, so unfortunately, after shoving and being responsible for the passing of Barbara, Lauren has now been arrested. And it's like, from what I know, she's just being charged with manslaughter. I don't know if her parents are going to be charged for anything like that, like aiding and abetting. They unless they just did not know what she did until authorities knocked on their door. But yeah, that's just what it is, Anyways, from what I'm knowing, it's just her how do you say it? The DA believes that they're overcharging her. It's just like right now it's just manslaughter as far as we know. And it's just like, it's just one charge, a charge that she's responsible for. And I think they was caught on camera of her doing it, And her cell with her bail was set to $500,000, and she's currently being held in Rikers. And it's just, what a great wake up call. Unfortunately, someone had to lose a life for you to receive it, but it's just, the fact that you knew what you did. You knew what you did because you actively ran, you actively stashed your phone somewhere else so you couldn't be found, and you were still caught. You knew what you did. It's like, it's sickening, and it's funny at the same time. It's just, you got it. You got to take your lumps, You did what you did. Face the music now. You're charged with manslaughter. I don't know how many years you'll get. And that's the sad part about cases like these. It's just her family is high status, supposedly, at this point. And how do you call it? Money talks. And that's just how it is a lot of the times, is money talks loud enough. You can she can possibly just be looking at probation. That's it. No time behind bars. And if she does do time behind bars, it's probably going to be like a month or two. And that's about it. But it's like, hopefully not. Hopefully the justice system prevails and just be like, look, your little I'm better than you attitude caused you to take a life of a woman just wanting to go home. And it's like, no. There's no getting out of that the easy way. But as far as I know, that's really all that's happening. And with her, and maybe I'll touch base back at this when more comes out. I don't know when the trial is gonna start or anything. I mean, she's gonna have her court date or anything like that. But yeah, so that's really what it was. Anyways, last story, because I gotta start heading to work soon. Is I'm sure you guys know exactly what happened on the on the 27th, Sunday. People are saying it was a slap heard around the world. It's insane. So as you all know, it's the Oscars happen. The Oscars haven't. I feel 100% strongly that the Oscars are just dying. You know, there it wasn't what it was back in the day. Back in the day, the Oscars were there because you were part of something so well received, something so masterful, something so creative and iconic that there had to be some way to show that you yourself achieved something huge that not many people get to achieve, you know? And it was a glorious event. All the huge names were there. Well, anyways, the Oscars now just seem like a shadow of their former self, basically. Or just living on their old self's shadow. I don't know how to say it. Anyways, because it's not really anything good at this point. The nominations are jokes. It's no longer, were you in a masterpiece? Were you in a piece of cinema that will be historical for years to come, for the next few generations? It's just like, were you able to leave your print somewhere in this recent year to be just shown that you achieved something great? Or were you just born a certain skin tone and a certain gender? You know? And it's just like, it's no longer about your achievements and your talent and your skill and what you brought to the table. It's just how you were born or what you do in your personal life at this point. Because it's just like, come on. West Side Story. I haven't watched the new one, but I know for a fact it's only been nominated because of the cast. They're all Latinos and everything. I was like, really? That's why you're nominating stuff like this? It's like, come on. You know me. I love Spider-Man. And this past December, that was a huge crossover between 3 different generations of Spider-Man. It's one that literally people who were just kids went to go watch and then got to see him again reprise his role when they were already in like almost 30 or in their 30s now. But it's just like, that literally got nominated for nothing. It's like, oh no, I think they got nominated for best effects or something, but that's about it. It's like, what? You know, it's just, it's dumb. It's dumb. Well, anyways, oh yeah, and what happened, like, was it in like 2016, 2017 or something like that, where literally people were nominating actual good stuff, like probably the last Oscars where they were nominating good things and everything, but none of the good things that were nominated like had any like leading roles that had anybody who was a minority. And then Jada Smith started like Oscars So White, and it's like, what? It's like, Oscars So White. Oscars So White. It's just like, just because you weren't in on something that was good doesn't mean that the Oscars are against you. That makes zero sense. So what about the Oscars in the past that nominated leads that were minorities also, who won Oscars and everything? Were they white back then just because nobody was in something good that was a minority at this particular year? Now it's just white. It was nothing but a cry for attention. I wish that a lot more people saw it like at that point, because it was just, it's dumb. You weren't in anything good. Stop blaming the Oscars for exposing that, you know? Or not even exposing that. Nobody would have even cared until you all came out with that dumb stuff, you know? I think it was mainly because Will wasn't nominated for anything. He was like in a couple of things that year, and it's just, she just got mad. Well, what do you call it? What was that? Oh, it's my cat Peaches. Well, yeah. Well, anyways, the Oscars not happening in 2020. I don't know if they happened last year. I really didn't care. And I didn't even know it was happening this Sunday until like I got off of work. Well, I was almost off of work, and then like people were like talking about what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock. So apparently what had happened was Chris Rock was up there doing his bits. He's a comedian. When you're in the world of comedy, you can joke about a lot of things because that's just what comedy is. People think, I think the Amazing Atheist said it. People think comedy is supposed to be nice because comedy makes you laugh. You go, ha ha, you're happy. You're laughing at a nice joke. But like, we're not telling knock knock jokes up here, Nobody's doing that. They're jokes, the way comedy works, the way jokes work is because jokes have their roots in just some very, very messed up things, in some very, very crazy scenarios that happened or has happened or is happening in real life. And that's just what makes comedy. It takes something that's happening and just puts it in the most relatable, weird way that it's just funny, And it's like nothing's off limits when it comes to the world of comedy. People make jokes about 9/11. People make jokes about terrorism, about race, about certain people, certain things, certain locations. People make a lot of jokes. And it's like, that's just what it is. You can't really, well, you can be mad, but it's just not going to make any sense. It's not going to make any sense at all to just be mad. It's like, you don't like the show, then leave, because at the end of the day, these are just words. People are getting their laughs out on jokes. And just because your feelings are hurt means you get to act out however you want, No, that's not how it works. Because like I said it before, one day you're going to lash out on somebody who's the wrong one to lash out at. And you're going to get shown up. Well, anyways, so what had happened was Chris Rock was doing his old segment and everything like that. And talking about, I like just quickly did a little jab on Will Smith's wife, Jada. So Jada, as you guys know, losing her hair, shaved her head and everything like that. And he made a G.I. Jane reference. And the funny part is, Will Smith laughed at the joke. And while he's laughing, because the camera pans to him, you see Jada right next to him. She's not taking it. She doesn't like it. And the camera pans away back to Chris. And when it's doing that, Chris is doing his next little bit. And then he stops and then he like makes comment that Will Smith is walking up to him. Well, anyways, it ends with Will Smith smacking him. And, the mic being right there, you heard the smack throughout the entire auditorium. And people are like, oh, well, he's like, yeah, somebody got slapped. Well, anyways, Will Smith is mad. I mean, like, keep my wife's name out of your mouth and everything like that. And it's just like, dude, really? What? It's like, what the hell? So, anyways, he does that. Chris Rock is like, dude, I did a G.I. Jane joke, And then he's like, keep my wife's name out of your mouth and everything. And I just found the whole thing hysterical and annoying at the same time because it's just, hysterical, funny, and annoying at the same time because it's just like, it's crazy how you got the nerve to walk up there and smack him for making a joke at the expense of your wife. It's annoying because it's just like you're acting tough like this to Chris Rock. Like Will Smith is like 6'2", 6'3", something like that, like probably 225. Chris Rock is roughly like 50 pounds lighter than him and shorter too. I believe Will Smith has experience in like boxing and everything. I don't know about Chris Rock. I never really know his whole ordeal on that side of his life. But it's just like, oh, Peaches, you gotta chill out. But it's just like, part of the reason why Will Smith, I know this for a fact, part of the reason why Will Smith walked up to him and smacked him is because he knew Chris Rock couldn't do anything back to him, even if he tried. And it's just like, tell me this, dude. What if Will Smith done the same thing had it been The Rock who made that joke? What about John Cena? What about Brock Lesnar? Huh? Would he have done the same thing? Would he have had the nerve to do that against those guys? What about Jason Momoa? You know? Imagine any one of those guys going up there, joking, making that joke. What if Will Smith stood up and done something? And let's say if he did, do you think they're just going to stand there and let him put hands on them? These guys who have been known for not just working out, but fighting? No. I truly, honestly believe no. Because it's just that type of thing. When you see somebody who's bigger than you, possibly stronger than you don't want to do anything against them, no matter how angry you get. And if you do, because just out of pure anger, you're delusional. You know how many people in middle school and high school got into fights because they thought that their anger was going to make them like win, but then they ended up just getting rocked? It's like, no, that's not going to work, you know? So yeah, that's why I think Will Smith went up there and everything like that. And I kind of understand, because in light of recent things of since like 2020, I believe, it's just he's a broken man right now, you know? Do I think he deserves it? I don't know, probably. At first they tried to play it out like his wife was unfaithful, but I think later on it came out that they both just had an open relationship. And I was talking about this with my lady the other night. I don't think it stems for the fact that that Jada was with her son's friend, which is actually still pretty messed up. But it was more for the fact that how do you say it? How they went about it. Like any couple, married or just dating, when they face serious problems in a relationship, you know, the smart thing is, hey, let's keep this private and work it amongst ourselves or whatever. Not for the Smith family. For some reason, people keep interviewing them, and for some reason, they keep answering their questions. And just like the Smith family, they just need to be out there. They just need to put their dirty laundry everywhere for the world to see, even though that's gonna, like, you know, cost them humiliation, embarrassment, and everything like that. And memes. All those memes. And yeah, no, that's basically what's happened. He instead of being like, hey, you know, let's just talk through this when we're not working, they were like, hey, how about we just get on the show together and just tell the whole world what's happened and just talk it out in front of the whole world. And, you know, I'm gonna sidetrack a little bit here. A lot of people are like, oh, this is why men don't open up emotionally and everything like that. It's like, yes and no. Yes, because there are women out there who will go out with a dude who's hardened up enough to not let his emotions show. Be like, please be open to me and this and that. And then later on, they're gonna throw all that emotion right back in their face when they get into an argument. Yes, that happens. And yes, that's a reason why guys don't like opening it up. But no, because that all could have been avoided. You know, all the Will Smith memes could have been avoided if they decided not to feed their egos and try and become relevant again by going on an actual show and broadcasting it for the entire world to see. That all that could have been avoidable if they just decided to just deal with it on their own time, you know? But yeah, so, oh, my back worked out today. It's pretty good. So, how do you say it? So that was just my whole thing, you know? And, like I said, that it's just mainly how they went about it. That's why it grew as much as controversial as it is. After that, all that blew over and everything like that, everybody had their fun, their laughs, their memes and everything. Tell me why Jada comes out again. And she goes, yeah, I don't really enjoy having intercourse with my husband, you know, and all that stuff. And it's like, dude, what? Why? Who asked? Like, who's asking these people these questions, you know? And it's just like, it's just, yo, you're burning Will. That's hella messed up. That's hella messed up. It's like, not only are you burning him right now, but the fact that this is shortly after you admitted to going out with your son's friend, who's like, I think his age and everything. That's pretty messed up. And it's pretty messed up how people are like thinking that's chill. It's like, imagine Will going out with Willow's friend, when they're of age, of course. He's just going out with her friend. People are being like, yo, that's sick. How does a grown man do that with his own daughter's friend? Yeah. But when it was Jada with Jaden's friend, it was like, well, that's just funny. It's weird. Well, anyways, so yeah, it's like, dude, this lady is just throwing their dirty laundry everywhere. And yeah, but how do you say it? There was something else that happened after that. Yeah, I forgot. But yeah, no, and then more memes started sparking up, and it's just like, you're really breaking this man down like crazy, because like nobody really made memes of her. There are some, but no one really made memes about her. They more made about memes about him, like just kind of making fun of him and everything like that. But then this happened, this happened and all that stuff on Sunday. And then the memes about both of them, basically stating that, oh yeah, no, I forgot the other thing I was going to say. Will Smith came out with, in an article like a couple weeks later, being like, yeah, I didn't like Tupac because I wasn't him and everything like that. And it's just like, why? Like why are you telling people this? It's just like, you not believe in secrets? There's one segment where it's just like, I remember it was him and his son. And then like, it's just like, he was basically telling the cameras like, yeah, no, we used to do dumb stuff when we were kids too, except we did it in private because we didn't have Twitter. And it's like, well, now you do. And now there's so many electronics everywhere keeping us all together, and you're still doing it. So yeah, but how do you say it? Yeah, so it's just like, it was crazy. It was weird. But how do you say it? Now the Oscars happen, and there's like a bunch of memes about them, and there's a lot about Jada and everything, and I would admit they're hilarious, but it's just like, don't forget, it's already been confirmed that they were in an open relationship. They were in an open marriage. I don't know why that one was so different in particular, except for the fact of how they went at it. Instead of just discussing it in private, they decided to throw a whole spectacle for the world to see, and now we're here. Now we know their stuff, and now we're here, and they have no one else to blame but themselves. Well, anyways, back to the Oscars. Is after that slap and everything, and him trying to be tough, even though I feel like that was his way of trying to recapture his manliness. Like, I'm a man, no one talks about my wife. It's like, you be met with violence, even though, like I said before, I doubt he would have done that to anybody who actually works out and fights for a living, or has fought for years. But how do you call it? I think that was his attempt on trying to let the world know that he's still a man and everything. But unfortunately, I think it's going to start costing him now, because yes, as of this point, Will Smith, there's been reports that him and Chris made up after, but it's official that he posted it up as a public apology towards Chris Rock about his actions, and him calling it embarrassing and, how do you call it, intolerable and everything like that. So here's the thing. The Oscars released the thing, I think, after that, where it was saying that the Oscars don't condone any violence of any sorts to anyone and everything. Nice little thing. Except for the fact that after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, he was allowed to take a seat again and then receive his Oscar immediately after. And then after that, he went out partying with his Oscar. And it's like, wow, nothing. You're not even going to take your award back and everything. It's kind of weird how you're saying you don't condone violence, yet you still allowed the man who literally just went on stage to slap somebody to just continue sitting at his assigned seat and continue receiving his award and continuing to stay in your establishment. I'm pretty sure that's condoning the violence. It's just dumb, you know? It's like you can't put a message out there and be like, "Oh, we're against this," and then just not care when that's actually happening. But how do you say it? So there's been a lot of talk about people basically saying that they want Will Smith to have his Oscar taken away. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's his first Oscar. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah. What do I think about that? Well, at first I was kind of not for it. Not because I think that, oh, he didn't do anything wrong to have his Oscar taken away. No, it's more about like, hey, the Oscars, the votes were already put it in. They decided who they wanted to win. The trophy was made. It was already made in their name for whatever category. It's just dumb to take it back now, you know, after he already won it. And it was already voted that he was the one who was going to win it. But then the more I started thinking about it, the more I started hearing other people's sides and everything, I'm now leaning towards, no, he should take it away. He should have it taken away, you know? Because it was just like, I get it. There is such a thing as acting out with your emotions. Everybody on this planet has done it at some point or another. But just because you're acting out with your emotions doesn't mean that makes you unable to be held accountable for your actions. You know, I think we had a discussion about this a few episodes back. But yeah, it doesn't mean you can't be held, responsible for your actions. You still went up there. You still slapped the man for saying words. You didn't like those words? Oh well. Leave. I don't know. If he's your close friend, go talk to him. Be like, hey, yo, I didn't appreciate that joke or anything like that. But, come on. It's just like you're telling me that you can just go out there and slap somebody and then just win an award after and then nothing's going to happen. I know Chris Rock's not pursuing charges. And if he doesn't want to do it, then that's on him. He doesn't want to do it. That's fine. But it's just like the Oscars is just like you're saying you don't condone violence of any sorts to anyone. Yet here you are awarding the man who literally just slapped somebody a few minutes prior. It's like, dude, that you're not holding up your word. So yeah. So for me personally, I feel like they should take his Oscar away. And then like there's these other actors who were later outed for crazy, terrible acts that they've done in their histories past, and it's just like people are like, oh, then we should take theirs away. It's just like, yeah, why not? But then again, it's just like they won their awards like years prior to any controversy of theirs coming out. So it's kind of redundant a little bit. But on top of that, they haven't won any awards after that. Like, for example, Kevin Spacey. I used to love Kevin Spacey. He was an incredible actor. Just the way he carries himself, his voice, he's hilarious. And I think the last thing I really saw him in was when he played something Irons from Advanced Warfare. But that's about it. He later got outed for, I think, like, chatting up kids and, I don't know, molestation or something like that. And he's just been out of the picture since. I haven't heard anything about Kevin Spacey for the past few years. So yeah. So basically that's just like I said, it kind of feels redundant at this point to take their awards away, but it's never too late to start now. If you want to revisit the old things, revisit them, but right now you should start it. Back your words up. It's like you really condone violence? Literally when that just happened like 2 days ago? Okay. Start now. I don't know if they will. Give it to the runner-up. Who was the runner-up? Who was the other nominees? You know, who was the one who was right behind Will Smith? I don't know. But yeah, those are my ideas. Those are my thoughts. This is really what I was thinking about, and I don't know. That's all I can really speak right now. Before I even have to get into work, you know how it is. But yeah, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning. Honestly, like the sun's kind of in and out. There's clouds in the sky, but not like the darker gray ones that were yesterday. I doubt it's gonna rain today, but it would be nice. I would love it. I hope you guys stay safe, stay dry, and don't spin out of any kind of sorts. Remember, you walk up to somebody and slap him for saying words, don't be surprised if you just get handled. And on top of that, you push somebody because you're a piece of garbage. Don't be surprised when you're running and 2 weeks later you get caught at your parents' house. You know, Jesus Christ, these people are just dumb. I swear to God, these people are so dumb. I'm tired of it. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in again for this latest episode of The Mind of Mando. I hope you enjoyed the Minecraft music in the background. I hope you enjoyed as many times I put my microphone down. I gotta buy a microphone stand. I'm just literally been holding it in my hand. So it's just like, it's so, how do you say it? What's that word? Impractical. There we go. Impractical. So yeah, thank you guys again for tuning in to another episode of Mano Mando. I was your host, Armando Ortega, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya.